Welcome to the webinar. This is the first step that you may take, or you may actually, use this to determine whether data science is for you or not. There are a lot of things that happens in the world, right, in today's date, and most of it is attributed to data and analytics. So I'm Shreyas Raghavan. I've been working as a data scientist at Dun& Bradstreet for the last 2 years, and prior to which I was working at Udacity and Upgrad. So my experience in data science is very vast, I would say, because I've worked on things like self-driving car, I've worked on financial domains, I've worked on basic analytics. I've actually worked on many different fields here. So currently at Dun& Bradstreet, I'm working with many top companies around the world. You could basically look at it. So I work with Microsoft, Amex, T-Mobile, ATT, and so on and so forth. And I've also been developing flagship scores with Dun& Bradstreet, their products. So for those of you who don't know what Dun& Bradstreet is or what they are a credit rating agency, just like Moody's. Financial domain is one of the thing where you have the power of data science, right, leveraged upon. Now, obviously, Rajat and Nitin and Sam, they all have basically spoken about how data science is impacting and what is important here. I'm just going to talk about if the data science domain is for you or not, and what you could expect, and if you are coming from a very different domain, because this is one of the questions that we always get, right? That I am not from a technical background, I don't know anything. Can I start this domain, or can I start working on this domain? That's a very, very, very important question. So before I move on there, I'm just going to show you a simple infographic. Let me know if you're able to see that. Yeah, are you able to see that? Great. So what happened in the past few years is that things have changed, right? We have a much better computing system, right? Gone are the days of Pentium computation where you used to wait to even load things. If many of you are gamers, you would understand that the graphic processing capabilities have increased. Your computers are able to do things at a much quicker rate. They have more number of cores, more memory, more hard disk, more space. And on the other hand, we have started, kind of creating more data, right? Yeah, like we have started creating data through our smartphones. Everyone basically, provides data to companies, right? Your smartphone is a walking example of data accumulation, right? I mean, many of you, would have turned on their location on their smartphones, right? You guys do that? Yeah. So you may see in terms of data. I mean, this is just a very small example that I'm trying to show. Is that, but if you go to Google Maps, there's something called as your location history. Have you seen that? Like your places. Have you seen this? And you can go to something like visited here, and can you see, like, you've, like, I went to this medical store to buy a sanitizer that got marked. I went to supermarket to buy some groceries for myself that get marked. Went to ATM to withdraw. I mean, this I was waiting at the signal. It's not too accurate. Same here. But you could basically see, right? All these locations are tagged at this point, right? Yeah, absolutely. Right. And the good part about these locations, and I just saw this on LinkedIn quite a few days back, is that they were actually advertising prior to the lockdown to the places that I actually go to, right? Yeah, they send out a mail. That's absolutely there. Like, I don't have it right now, maybe because of the fact that there's lockdown, so people are not advertising. But I actually got something during New Year. Like, they asked me to give something to people, and this is basically the road which I take for my office. This road that you're able to see. and you would kind of see that there is a fast track shop somewhere here, and it says that, hey, you know what, go to fast track shop, buy something for new year to give to your friends or your partner or your whatever it is, or your family, and there is a discount if you're going through Google Maps. That's something which happened. I mean, how many of you are from Chennai who can basically confirm this? If they were able to see, at least I was able to see. So the point in matter right now is that, why did I get location marketing happening at this cluster, and why not somewhere, let's say here? I mean, there are so many fast track shops across, right? But to give a sense of it, Google knows that, hey, Shreyas is going to office. Shreyas is not going to go, let's say 10 kilometers away to basically go and buy something that, he can buy somewhere here. So that's the target marketing which has actually improved. Now, many people might argue here and say that, Shreyas, you know what, this is just an if else statement. We are saying that if this is closed, that is closed. I would agree on that, but still, it's all about data. Now, coming back to my infographics, the first thing that we understand here, the computer IT part, which is basically data collation, data processing, all these things happen here, right, at this computer science IT part. Now, here's where things get interesting, right? Many of the people who come into this field, they are not proper IT people, right? So they don't work basically on the data collation part, but rather on the data processing part. Because for data collation, you think anyone in Google is sitting and tracking you manually? No. There is a system which is in place, right? And they are tracking whatever you're doing, right? If I'm sitting at home right now, they know that I'm sitting at home, right? Simple enough. Absolutely. And now for data processing, for quite a lot of years, people were using a platform called SAS. I don't know if you guys have come across this. SAS and R, these two languages were very, 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 very predominant in the analytics space. I only look at SAS. SAS has been something which has been there in the market for the last 60, 70 years. So that basically represents that analytics is not a very new domain, and it's not like people have, suddenly realized what it is. So yeah, you see that from 1966 to 76. So they basically released at 1976, right? All these companies that are present, they use this language. They were using this language. Let me put it that way, right? And this language had all sorts of connectivity with some things like IBM mainframe, even now Hadoop and all works on a Unix Linux environment. Client facing was Windows. All these were happening at this background. The analysts who are doing their courses, who are doing their bachelors, who are doing whatever they do, right, masters or something, they were not doing it in the computer science space, correct? They were doing in something like, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I hope you guys have heard about operational research, or OR. Have you guys heard about it? There's always this masters in operational research. Operational research is basically like optimization and modeling. Oh, okay, you guys haven't. So at this, okay. Yes, I would really appreciate if you can mute. Okay, thank you. So there's something called operational research, OR. That's what they used to call, right? Yeah, this is a discipline which deals about advanced analytical methods. Many people have done that. Many people have used OR, a degree in OR to get into analytics space. People who do OR, most of them are from backgrounds like BSc Stats or BSc Maths, and then they do OR. So they have literally no association with computer science and IT, like literally nothing. But once they get into the domain, they have the domain and business knowledge, right? Like, they've done OR, they know things here, or they know maths and stats, right? But they don't know this computer science and IT, so they basically go into this traditional research component. Once they join the companies, they have basically started learning computer science and IT, and now they are fundamentally here at data science. I mean, data science is a very newly coined term. I would have put it as analyst at that point of time. So again, coming back to what has changed, right? We have basically seen the power of computation increase over time, right? Like my system here, the one which I has a graphic card. I can play any game that I want, right? It's lifelike when I play some games, right? And that's the power of computation. There's no lag when I'm clicking a button on my controller on my laptop. There's no lag, right? Like if I do an alt tab, done. Previously, if you used to do an alt tab, it used to take some time. Power of computation has increased and the data has come to such a level that it meant that engineers or people from very core computer science discipline come into the picture. They came in, right? And then came the start of languages like Python and even R. You can put it for some instance. R has been there for a very long time. Python came into the picture, and there's the package pandas which came into the picture, and people started learning that. So I know that this question, right, which is a very tricky part to explain, do I really need technical knowledge to get into data science, or is it more like a gimmick part of thing? You do need technical knowledge, and it's not like this technical knowledge has come today. That you're like, oh, if I need to get into an analytics position, I need to know technical knowledge because today people in computer science domain have basically started working on this part. That's not the case. That's been happening for a long time, and that is the reason why I emphasized on SAS. The point in place is that Python and other languages that you have, Python is what? It's just a programming language, right? So people have now started associating and saying, okay, hey, wait, listen. Python is a programming language which basic engineer graduates learn. So they are on advantage. Frankly, that's not the case. Sadly, that's not the case. Just like how every domain has its own specific set of skills. For example, I don't know how many of you are from web development or from web part of things or from data engineer part of things. I don't know how many of you right? So then I would like to listen to that song later on. Can you mute yourself? Okay, let me do that. Okay, done. Right. Yeah. So I mean, coming back to the point, I think I was basically talking about yeah, the advantage in terms of Python and all, right? So again, right? It's not like they are an advantage, right? Just like how every domain has a very specific set of skills that you need to know. Like if you go to web development, a person who knows Java development would not know web development, right? That's really not right. That's really not the case. Now, similarly, when you're talking about Python, you're talking about packages in Python. There are a few things like pandas, NumPy, which has come in and taken the industry by a storm. Is it difficult to learn? Well, it's actually not. It's relatively easy to learn all these concepts and tools. You don't even need to be from a comp science background to actually sit and understand. The basic thing about Python is its simplicity and the way it works. I mean, to just give you an example of a model development process, I had a class just now, like an hour back, and I was teaching them how to create a decision tree. And here's the fun part about it. I'm just going to show you like 2 3 lines of code. I mean, don't get too this thing with it. The whole purpose is that I'm trying to tell you the simplicity of things. I read the data. Not really this one. I want to show you the decision tree one. That's the best one, best example. It's fairly simple. I read the data. I called decision tree model. I dropped the variables which I don't want to be included in the model. I built a decision tree, and this is how my decision tree looks like. So if you actually look at what I've done, I have essentially written the code in probably one, two, three, 4 lines of code and 2 3 lines to visualize. So you could basically understand how simple it has become to kind of build a model. The main challenge that you get is with the data processing part, because in a data science work, 90% of the work that you do is on the data processing part. Coming back to this, that's where domain and business knowledge comes into play. You need to know how you create the data. You need to know how to build the data. So how do we solve that, right? How do we do that? That obviously comes with analytical skills, right? So very simple thing, right? When you look at this location data, I mean, what can you imagine? Like, what all things can you do? Can anybody, like, just write it on the chat? Like, what do you guys think can be done with the location data? Like, if I have, let's say, someone's location data with me, what are all the things that I can explore? Anyone? I'll just actually, like, say, tell the answer. I can basically do a target marketing based on, yeah, exactly, geo-targeting. That's one thing which I can do, right? I can look at the preferences. Yeah. I can look at what all places do they go. For example, if I go to more supermarket, why shouldn't I order things from Big Basket? Let's say that there's a cycle. Every 2 weeks, I go to more supermarket. So why not order this week from Big Basket or from Grofers, right? Yeah, what are the events which are happening nearby, and can I sell the tickets to you so that you can go and attend the event, right? So these all subsets that you are seeing, it requires a smart computational model which can understand your trends, your behaviors. Yeah, traffic detail is good, right? Like, in Google, if you basically type from one location to another, they basically have this trend for the next 4 hours, like, you know uh, what sort of traffic is there, right? How much time it will take for you to go back home, right? I mean, it comes to me when I'm in office at 6 o'clock. It tells me, hey, Shreyas, this is the right time to leave home. You'll reach in 35-40 minutes, right? So that's where data science has come into the picture, and it has taken the world by a storm. In the last 3-4 years, we are seeing such a rapid growth in terms of data. There's so many simple things, right? For example, I follow Chelsea, right? So when I write Chelsea, or let's say Gallus, it's going to show me William Gallus. Maybe there are other people as well, but first thing that it shows me is William Gallus because I have a preference towards football, right? And I know he was a former. Or let me talk about Terry. So Terry Crews, yeah. But here's the fun part. If I type Chelsea first, and my second query is going to be Terry, I may see Terry popping at the. Oh no, I'm not able to see that. Okay. Any which way, right? So there are so many Terry, but I get John Terry here, right? Because Google knows what your preference is. Google knows what you're looking at. Google knows what's your favorite. Google knows what you want to do, right? And how do they know that? Because of the data that you generate, nothing else, right? So now coming back to the things, should I be an expert in maths and stats, or should I know a business knowledge, or should I be an expert in computer science? You don't need to be an expert in everything, but you should know every single thing. Yeah, absolutely. It's Google Analytics. See, again, coming back to the point, you don't need to know like the depth of everything. If you even if you know it from a outer level or a top level, and then you explore in, that would basically help you become a data scientist, or at least help you start your career in data science, right? Anyway, so that's about it, right? So I think I took it very long right now for this one. um, but coming back to things, right? So every single day, every single things that you do that impacts, yeah, that impacts your life, just remember there is a model which is running on the background which is helping you with that. This domain is a beautiful domain. You should know basic level maths, basic level stats. You should have an analytical skill which is very important, right? Like why am I doing this? What should I do? How do I do? Right? Those are very important. Basic Python, basic R, a little bit of computer science will help you, at least will give you the idea to learn more. And domain and business knowledge, obviously, now if you ask me, I have worked in two industries, which is logistics industries as well as financial industry. So I have a very good idea on that end. But if you ask me something from, let's say, insurance industry, I may not be that great. But if you ask me from credit risk industry, I know everything there, right? So it depends on where you work or what sort of is the nature of work that you have. And depending on that, it basically goes ahead, right? Yeah. Any questions so far?
Yes, sir, this is Nathan
Hey, Nitin.
from Decodr. It was a very informative session actually. So I have a few questions, and these questions were asked to me when I put out a message in the group telling if you guys have any questions to be answered, you can ask, so that I'll be asking you. Okay. So first question is, sir. So the most asked question is, the person is from a commerce background or maybe from arts background. Can he do data science? And can he become a data scientist or a data analyst and after doing a small course and etc.?
Yeah, exactly. So the point is this, right? So a person who is doing commerce background, right? I mean, one of the things which I don't like nowadays is how people have skewed data science with technology. I don't think that is the case. So someone from commerce background or someone from, let's say, some business administration background may be really well versed in domain and business knowledge. Do you agree with me on that? So
Yeah,
why can't
definitely.
they learn computer science and IT, right? So when
Hmm.
they do know domain and business knowledge, and I have this, I actually took multiple batches, right, for Decoder as well as other institutes, and I've seen this happening that many of the people, they would know either one of this. There won't be anyone who would know all the three, right? There would be someone who knows one of it, and they go to the courses to kind of substantiate or kind of uh, get the learning on the other two parts or the other two concepts, right? Which could be maths and stats, or which could be
Hmm.
domain and business knowledge, right? So
Yes, sir.
you would see like BCom graduates coming and telling, hey, data science is not for me because I don't know technology. I kind of refuse to believe that, right? Yeah, see, so I can see somebody saying that he's from BSc stats, right? And I can see, yeah, hands dirty in data science. I'll actually come to that, right? So that's like the main thing, right? If you do BSc stats, you are good at this part, right? Yeah, but you're not, you don't know these two parts. Probably even this part you may know, right? You may not know this part. And you can take these courses to get an understanding of on this level, computer science and IT, right? Yeah, Vipin, the basic skills
Yes.
are right in front of your eyes that you're able to see. Computer science, IT, math, stats, and domain business knowledge. You don't need to know everything, just a little bit of here and there. Sam asks, a preference given to master courses in data science. See, that's another thing. So masters in data science is a very marketed thing which has come into existence right now. That's the reality. Previously, if you look at the data scientists who've been in this industry for quite some time, they are actually OR people. They would have done operational research and they would have tried to do things in R. And even you would not believe that many people in today's day and age, many of these colleges are teaching R to operational research people, to people who are not from, uh, you know, from a technical background, right? They're teaching them Python, they're teaching them R. One of my friend, she's working at Axtria and she's not from computer science background at all. And trust me, she's one of the best R coders that you can ever see. One of the best analysts that you can see, hands down. So again to the point, right? She joined courses. She joined multiple courses to learn what is lagging, right? Like I joined multiple courses to learn the other parts, which is maths and stats and domain and business knowledge. She learned because she wanted to understand computer science and IT and domain and business knowledge, right? Yep.
Yes, sir. Correct. So basically, the summary of this is anyone can do data science, right? So it doesn't
It's for
have to
everyone.
be people from the IT background. Exactly. And the next question that is most asked is, how are the job hirings in data science in India, and that too in this COVID situation, what is happening now?
COVID situation has taken everyone by a storm. I can be very honest there. Uh, you're getting a bunch of questions there, so do keep in mind. We'll revisit that part. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
COVID situation has basically taken the entire world by a storm. There's literally no denying on that, right? Uh,
Hmm,
the whole point is after COVID, what's going to happen, right?
exactly.
One such thing that we are forecasting is basically the automation sector. Like the automation of multiple sectors would kind of increase exponentially, right? Many startups might come into play and they would try to automate the basic jobs that people are trying to do, right?
Hmm,
Um,
yes,
that's
sir.
that's that's happening, right? Now within
Hmm,
data science, again, the field is increasingly improving and increasingly changing by time, right? Because you are able to see that basic elements like Excel, right? Excel was a huge hit in 2000s, but what happened to Excel now? Right? I mean, it's still used, widely used. I'm not saying it's dead, but I'm saying the capability of Excel is such that it can handle only some million rows or some number of records. It's more easy to do a work in Python or R as compared to Excel, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's one thing. But if you look at those people who were in the industry at that point of time, they are there in the
Hmm.
industry not because of their coding language or not because of their preference of tool, but rather they are there because they know what needs to be done. Today's
Hmm.
world, things are changing. You need to know technology, because if you know technology, you are basically reducing the cost for the company. Okay, like simple example could be SaaS. uh,
Hmm.
SaaS is a paid tool for the companies, and they come up with a very expensive licensing fee, right? Startups cannot use SaaS, it's that expensive, right? So
Yes, sir.
I think
Correct.
like SaaS capabilities were only into modeling, but now because of these languages, Python, R, you have capabilities to do endless things. There used to be separate team guys, like you who used to have a visualization team, who used to only work on visualization, right? That's one
Hmm.
field that you can explore. There is a modeling team which only works on modeling, right? They build machine learning models, they do things. That's different. There used to be another team which works on data preparation collation. Everybody
Hmm.
used to have different tools, right? Data visualization used to work on Excel, analytics used to work on SAS, data collation and this thing, they either used to work on SAS or Informatica, or there used to be many ETL tools. Now because of these technology advancements that has come in, everybody can do everything, but that doesn't single-handedly mean that the companies are looking to hire only one person to do everything. They usually hire a team for that, right? But
Yes, sir.
in machine learning, in data science, in this field, there are multiple subdomains that many people ignore. One of the things
Hmm.
that people have become very crazy about is modeling. And
Hmm.
fun part, modeling is only 10% of the work, not even 10%. 90% of the work is your data preparation, data cleaning, and obviously you could attribute another 5% to your presentation skills or what you do. It's that it's that complicated, but we live in an age where we want to be cool. We want to say that I built something which is predicting, right? It gives you that pleasure. It gives you that ego satisfaction that you are doing something which is going to predict something. That means you have built a brain, right? But in
Yes, sir.
reality, that's not the case. You have to do the dirty jobs, right? And that's how the
Yeah.
world works. I
Yeah.
hope I
That's
answered
definitely
that.
there,
It
sir.
went really long there.
Yeah, it's fine. But actually, the main thing is people are trying to understand how it's happening in the current world.
Current
That's
world,
okay.
what is happening is that these open source tools and platforms will take up. Uh,
Hmm.
I would actually, take this time to show you something, but I don't think I can show you with the license. I don't have a license for this right now. There's a tool called Data IQ. I don't know if you guys know about it. Let me go to images and show you the products here. It's a very interesting tool. What it does is it lets data scientists basically drag and drop things. I mean, it's that simple. Okay, just drag and drop. And it also gives you the opportunity to code the language that you want to code. Like you can write it on Python, you can write it on PySpark, you can write it on anything. Now, here's the fun part. What happens on the background is that they have written code snippets in Python, and it actually helps people who are not from tech background, but who know what needs to be done. So they just keep dragging and dropping, and the product is ready. The model can be implemented anywhere. It is that simple in today's day and age. So people think that I should learn Python. No, you should know what you have to do. That's more important than learning a language and saying I'm a data scientist, right? So that literally is not a go-to, you know. And again, visualizations have also become open source. If you look at something like Plotly Dash, who has taken the game by a storm to such an extent that Tableau and all are worried. Tableau has been there for so many years. Dash looks like this. It has very easy integration. You can create it into a web app. You can create it into a website. Tableau is scared. So people who know Tableau skills, do you think that they won't have a job? They will have a job. Why? Because they would know what needs to be visualized and where it needs to be visualized. They are domain experts there, right? So I would
Yes,
say
sir.
the weightage on the open source tools, open source elements are very high. in today's day and age. Things are looking really good for one particular set of people, but that doesn't mean the other set of people can't come. That's the reality.
Yes, sir. So basically, the concepts are that matter and not the tools what you're using, right? I see a question here. So Ganesh has asked this question. He's asking that, but companies prefer students from IT and CSE uh, to know this. I mean, to get into the job. So is it actually that in the current market what is happening?
Yes, sadly, that is happening. In your campus placements and all, that is the case. And to overcome that, and I will tell you why that is the case as well.
Hmm.
You go to a human resource, person, right? You go to an HR person. You tell
Hmm.
them I need a person from data science. I mean, this I'm even doing for my team right now, right? I try to hire
Hmm.
people. I tell them that, hey, I need someone with relevant experience. I need someone with so and so. The
Hmm.
first thing that they look at when they ask me the first thing, so I'm into data science development, so I build platform guys. So my work is more into this computer science, and you know my work is very skewed at this part. So you can basically call me at this level if I have to draw a cutoff.
Okay.
Uh,
Hmm.
I have to look at developers. So I see Python. I say that the first skill that I would need is Python because my work
Okay.
does not completely like see my work is very different guys. So I am a data scientist. I do analysis. I build models. That's one set of work. The other set of work is into platform development, which is more into like a software development type of role. But what happens is when I go and tell I need someone from Python, machine learning, they should know R. Like these three things, the HR automatically assumes the only person or the only set of people who would know are people from computer science or IT background, right? Absolutely. I mean, there's no harm for them to say that, right? I mean, they're right.
Hmm.
Now, here's where college plays a vital part, right? So you look at CSE and IT graduates from college, right? Like they don't have any other experience. They are just starting out their career. So the assumption is that because most people don't do anything in college, that's the reality. Let's say people have done a lot of courses, they have a very strong GitHub, they have a very strong repository, right? Imagine
Hmm.
they can basically go anywhere. And I've seen this happen so many times. We just hired a person from EC department, Shubham, to answer your question. That guy knows Python very basic. He's a very basic level Python guy. He doesn't know everything in depth. He's not like a computer science crack, but he has a very strong analytical skills. He thinks like crazy, right? And that is the type of people we usually hire. And it depends from organization to organization, obviously. So let's say you are from backgrounds like metallurgy, mechanical, and all. I've seen many people from mechanical being, they work with me in the office as well. These people would have learned the skill when they are either doing their bachelor's or maybe after bachelor's they join somewhere. They feel that this is the time where I actually need to come in and adopt and cope up. So they try to do that. So there's nothing wrong in that. That's what I'm trying to say. You can do from any field, any domain. And why don't people think like it? If you're doing mechanical engineering, the core concepts which are involved in mechanical or in terms of how the machine works or how industry operates, and oh, what can be the data collected, oh, at what angle should this be in terms of improving the efficiency and all. So you can be a domain expert there. Data science is not only for financial domains. Data science is there everywhere, even in manufacturing, even in your food processing, marketing. There's so many fields where data science is there. You think that a person who learns computer science will be able to say at what angle should a machine operate, right?
Yes, sir, correct. Sir, one more question that is most frequently asked as well is, so there are a lot of places that are giving coaching in data science and machine learning and all of it, and it's become a new trend in India, correct? So they're going to see the next boom in data science in the near future, and I think it's already started. And the thing is, all those places tell that if you see their, let's say, the website, it tells they're giving 7 projects, 8 projects, 10 projects. We also at Decodr Technologies, we have around 150 projects inventory in which the students have access to, right? But
Right.
how many projects should they do, and what are the kind of projects they have to do so that they become very perfect with all the concepts of data science? And how does that work, sir?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very tricky question for me, to be very honest with you, because it works in two levels. One is projects, but one of the most important things which I see from these courses, because I've been associated with many educational startups throughout my career.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right from Audacity to Upgrad to Decoder to Academy. I mean, many places, right? One of the
Yes, sir.
things when I teach, and this is something which is very close to my heart, is analytical skills. For me, it
Okay.
doesn't matter if you build a model in A data or B data. But what I believe is that you should know, like when you look at the data, what all things can you derive? What all things can you add? What all things can you bring in? What all things can you drop? Right? Is my
Hmm.
data, when I do a sanity check, is my data actually telling me that this is right? Right? Those validations. So one of the things which happened here, right? So I was taking the first batch for Decoder, right? And we were looking at
Hmm.
COVID data. Uh, I took around 50 days of COVID data. I think that was 23rd of April or so when we started doing this, or 23rd of March, right? And
Yeah,
at
exactly.
that time, when the lockdown just started, and we were looking at the data, and this entire process went for 2 3 weeks.
Hmm.
We used to do a lot of sanity check, and I used to give these students, I never used to give them any slack. I used to tell them manually, if you have to look. If you are investing 3 hours looking only at the data, it's fine, right?
Hmm.
So all these things matter a lot because you do one project right, okay? Like
Hmm.
invest your heart, dedicate your soul to that one project. All the other projects will look simple, right? If I give
Hmm.
one complex project to you which has, let's say, 500 million records, 3000 columns, and I'm telling you sit and build a model or sit and do analysis, give me what you can give in the analysis, give me something meaningful from this analysis. And if I invest a lot of time in that. That's my purview, right? And
Hmm.
students like that because they feel very close to it. They feel, oh, okay, I'm trying to do something here which is going to bring it. Now coming back to the projects part, right? Once you
Hmm.
start doing this, once you keep this as a habit, right? Your
Hmm.
projects will automatically improve. You would see the data. You can see the data on Kaggle. You have repositories. You have so many
Hmm.
things, right? You look at
Yes,
all
sir.
these data and you would be able to do multiple projects, write a blog about it, make a website. So one of the things which I did when I was in college was kind of create a website. So if you go to
Okay.
shreyas3108.github.io, um, I don't know if it's, if you go here, this is basically my website. I've not updated the
Okay.
website for the last 2 3 years, but I basically give
Hmm.
this opportunity so anyone who comes in can look at what I've tried to do. For example, this was some analysis on a baseball data set. Click on it, and this is how I try to teach my students. I try to tell them that you need to write a report like this. That is when you can prove that you are a data scientist or a data analyst. Just writing dot fit and building a model and saying, oh, I got 90% accuracy, let me write it on LinkedIn to impress everyone, that's a fraud, quite honestly. Analytical skill plays a vital part, at least for me, to be honest.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Yeah, that's
So
right.
any
And
projects you
also,
can put anything, you can put 10 projects,
hmm.
that's fine. And you can
Hmm.
create 10 specific reports like this, right? It will
Hmm.
help
Hmm.
you a lot.
So the more, the better, right, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. More the better is right. But I'm saying that the
Hmm.
first thing that you need to do, right? The first analysis or the first report that you need to do, you should be
Hmm.
guided in such a way that you are able to break that ice. Or else there's no point. You can sit and do 5 projects, 6 projects, but it may not work out fine. You need that guidance. You need that thing. Oh, I'm looking at this. I am
Hmm.
looking at that. Oh, I need to do analysis this way. I need to think differently. It's an art, right? So it's
Yes,
like
sir.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, you mentioned that you have been teaching in a lot of places like Udacity, Decoder, and all of those. So, which, according to you, is doing things differently, and how are they doing things differently, sir? Which
Yeah.
institution?
So I mean, I would say this, right? Because in Decoder, I have full free hand on things.
Hmm.
So I would
Yes,
say
sir.
they are doing things differently, right? Because uh,
Hmm.
here's the part and parcel of things, right? When you work somewhere else, you know,
Hmm.
you basically try to have a set domain that needs to be followed. At Decoder, I had this discussion with Anirban. He's the top guy in Decoder, and
Program
I told him
director.
this is
Yeah.
yes. I told him this is how we are going to do things, right? This is how we will
Hmm.
do things differently. So
Hmm.
at Decoder, mostly, the idea is to have more focus on analysis, more focus on the skills that are actually required for job interviews than to just sit and show you learning coding. Like, this is df equal to blah blah blah. I really don't believe in that. You should know the domain well. You should know the algorithms really well. That should be the focus. Language is secondary, right? Yeah, it
Exactly,
goes like
sir.
that.
Yeah. So at Decoder, we basically concentrate on the concepts more than the tools what we're using, right? So in the future, if at all they go to a different company and they're using a slightly different tool, they can adapt to it easily because they are very strong with their foundation of concepts.
Absolutely. That adaptability plays a very vital part, right? So
Yes,
yes,
sir, definitely.
100%.
Yeah, definitely, sir. And yeah, I think we can take questions from the message inbox. So there are a
Yes.
lot of
So
questions here.
I
So
personally like this question, right? Step by step process for freshers to get into data science. Because here's the thing. I started out as a fresher in my college. Not a single data science company came in, right? And I was so focused on data science. As I said, right, I had done so much. I got placed in a big MNC, right? And I didn't want to join that. Larsen and Toubro, because Larsen and Toubro would have asked me to do something else. I didn't want to do
mm,
that. I wanted my work to be purely in a domain which I love, and you know, data science field. And what I did, I applied many places. I scouted LinkedIn. I created profiles. I created a GitHub profile, GitHub IO. I wrote blogs. I started mentoring people. I started making a huge network, and it helped me because this job that I have right now is through LinkedIn. It's not through any other thing, right? And I got a
mm,
chance to work as a data scientist ever since the first day I graduated from college. And I feel very happy about it because I see many people who are there who say, we joined MNC on the hope of getting a job as a data scientist there, but it's not happening. You can apply for data scientist internships, Bhavya, because there are so many internship programs which many companies are doing. I heard that even big MNCs like Cognizant and TCS, they are actually training their freshers on data science. I mean, last known update from my end. Yeah. So I
yes, sir,
think
they
like
are actually.
many people have started now moving towards it because in US data science is a big hit. India is a very service industry when it comes to IT. So the emphasis on data science at least for the next 3-4 years would be high. It's exactly like Java development which happened in 2002 2005 around. You can look at it on similar lines.
So you suggest that the next best career to take is data science. That's
Yes,
what,
it is.
right,
But
sir?
absolutely. But you need to be mindful about what you try to do there, right? Like where
Hmm.
exactly, like as I said, right, within data science, either you can be the face of the company or face of the uh, models or analysis that you build, that is, you go and explain, or you can be the backend guy who actually does the analysis, right? Or you can be like a
Hmm.
consultant. So there are many streams of line that you can do.
Yes, sir, definitely. So, sir, we have a few more questions. Like, there's a question asking, like, what are the online platforms for learning data science and for getting jobs in data science? And what is your take on it, sir?
So I think we have this job guarantee policy, right? At Decoder, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, I think there's
Yes,
something
sir.
called Decoder Edge, which guarantees you a job, or else they return the money back. And good thing about this is that it costs, I think, around 5,000, if I'm not wrong. And
Yes, sir. Correct.
you only pay 5,000 and you get in, right? If I'm not wrong about the finances, because I don't track that, right? I'm an instructor there. See,
Yeah.
again to my point, many
Hmm.
companies have started using this edutech platform. They are abusing the system. um,
Hmm.
I shouldn't take names, but one of the reputed people with whom I was around, I joined their courses. It was around 30,000 at the time I joined, right, which was good.
Hmm.
Today the same course is 80,000. Same course, nothing changed. That abusing
Yes, sir.
system is very bad because they've seen that many Indians are interested in doing, so they kind of changed it. Many people are
Hmm.
taking EMI and loan and doing it, and they don't even have a job guarantee, right?
Yes, sir. That's actually what is happening. So basically, it's becoming that learning data science is a luxury in India actually now. because only people who have money and who are ready to spend a lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, or there is fees up to 3 lakh rupees for data science.
And
So
that's
I
not
really
required
think,
because
yeah,
here's the fun
yeah,
part.
it's not required.
I am
Yeah.
I am doing masters in data science right now. It cost me 2,20,000 from Bitspilla. That's it for
Okay.
2 years. I'm getting a dissertation. I'll be publishing paper for them. I'll be their
Hmm.
alumni. I'm doing everything there. Like it's a work integrated program, but I'm paying only 2 lakh rupees there. I have eight hours classes, and that's more in depth than what these people will teach me for 6 months by taking 2-3 lakhs. I mean, that's
Yes,
a
sir.
stupid thing to do, to be very honest. I mean, that's my opinion. I shouldn't say it out loud, but I feel that that's the abuse of system. I have seen
Yeah.
this happening, and you will not believe this. Normal data
Hmm.
scientists who work in companies like Gartner and all, they
Hmm.
went ahead and they made their own course for 80,000 rupees.
Okay.
The only thing they're doing is they're saying, "I will give you the videos every Saturday. We'll connect for 3 hours."
Hmm.
I'm like, "Hey, what? 80,000 for this much? I mean, that's not really making sense." But
Yes, sir.
that abusing system has come in, and it will be there. It's bound to persist. And we Indians have this mentality, right? More money, more quality. Things don't work like that.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, sir. So it was a very informative session, and I hope all of us also, all of the people who attended got a lot of information about data science, how to get into it, and how their career can be changed in the future. So
Yeah.
I'd like to tell something to all the viewers that we at Decoder Technologies are providing courses in data science with Python. So our initial plan, I mean, our plan is to make it available to all the people who even can't afford it. So that's the reason we have come up with this new concept called pay after the job, in which you just have to you just have to pay a small amount of registration fees, join the course, and you'll be paying the maximum amount of it, or the total amount of the fees later after you get a job only. Okay. So the thing is, because we offer this course or this pay after the job offer to only 20% of the class, and since all of you have spent your time with the webinar, we are basically giving all of you this offer, and I'll be sending out a Google form in your mails and as well as in the WhatsApp group. So all the interested people who want to join this program can fill in the Google Sheet, and then our team will contact you and we can register you for the courses. Okay. So the next batch what is starting is from July 18th, and the classes will be on the weekends, and it will be instructed by people like Shreyas Raghavan sir, who just gave you the seminar. All of the people are faculty, are working people. Okay. And Shreyas sir, one last question I have. So I would like to know. Who and all want to switch their domain from whatever they're doing currently and what domain they are in. So all of you guys can put in your replies in the messages here, and maybe Shreyas sir will. And if you have any other questions for Shreyas sir, you can definitely ask, as we have 5 more minutes to end the session.
Yeah. So, like, this is a good question, right? So, let's say hypothetically, I work in a field like development, software development, right?
Hmm.
Now I want to switch to data science, right? That's one of the biggest thing. And many of my classmates in bits are actually looking at that, right? So
Hmm.
what happens here is that one is obviously the placement providing part, right? Because that is the most important part. Even in my uh, batch at Decoder right now. So I've taken like two batches now. I can see like
Hmm.
many people coming from very, very vast domain, marketing, sales. I see people from mathematics background. I see people who are doing courses at Indian Statistical Institutes, right? What
Yes,
happens
sir.
is that once they come into the picture, once they learn data science and all, if they are able to map that with the current work that they are doing. Now this is a very tricky question, right? When they come in and say, I'm a Java developer, I'm a web developer, how do you think that I will map data science? If you're a web developer, you can easily go into full stack data science. That's a field of data science where you have to build what do you call that, dynamic web pages type of thing.
Ah, yes, sir.
On the background there's a model development.
Hmm.
Similarly, you look at some other field, like some person says, I'm in the sales background. Now how do I get into data science? There is obviously sales analytics which you can get into. Marketing analytics. You can do target marketing using data. So you can bring that change because see, everybody has access to the data, right? In your company, you may have access to the data. You can
Hmm.
just try it out. Like one of my batch guy, his name Weber, I guess, right? What he did,
Hmm.
he wanted to spend his track. He wanted to track his spend, like how much is he spending. So he
Hmm.
went to his bank accounts, statements. You can download the bank account statement in Excel file, just in case you know. He
Yes,
downloaded
sir.
all the statement for the next 3 years and he did an analysis to understand how exactly he's spending and where exactly he's spending. He could have downloaded this app, right? What is that app's name? That Walnut. Walnut would have done
Ha.
it for him. But he said, I want that practice. I want to show this is what I did for my domain. This is what I'm doing for my domain. And he brought that change. So what I'm saying is that change comes within yourself. Changing the domain is not difficult, but it's not
Hmm.
very easy either, right? If you're looking to change domain within your company, then it becomes tricky. But if you're trying to switch it outside, you need to be smart in telling what things you've done. Like a person who's handling Oracle databases or something, he can say, I did a database management, I did extract transformation and load, and I did some analysis. No
Hmm.
company is going to come and ask you what analysis did you do, what is the report, where is it?
Yeah, hi, sir. So actually, I'm from mechanical background, and since last year I was working in an automation company. Now, since past month I have left it, and I was working on data science skills. I was gathering it. Like I was working on Python. I have actually programming skill, nice one. So I was working on Python and SQL. So what else I should learn to make a career in this field?
I think you're covered, right? Again, as I said, that it's not about learning the technology, but it's more about learning the algorithms and analysis. So if you're coming in from a domain where you already know the database and data preparations, I think you're covered. You're completely covered. And you can basically, talk to Nitin,
So
you can learn more from him and see what sort of offerings we have, like in terms of upping your skills and all. Because only learning Python SQL is very mainstream, and you should know things like analysis, or you should know things like what happens in an algorithm. Those are the most important part. And if you do that, you will get a job easily. That's my take.
like I have 1 year of experience in an automation industry. So based on that experience, I won't be getting a job as a data analyst. So I would have to do any project sidewise by myself for that.
Yeah, because the reason for this project is the companies want to ask. So many of the data science company, they look at your project rather than looking at the point that you've done Python or not. Like one thing which I do in
Yeah,
the interview is
exactly.
I look at the resume, I see what sort of things that a person has done in projects, and I try to ask questions based on that. Like let's say a person said I use decision tree. I say, okay, what is decision tree? Tell me. Then he talks about it, right? But then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will even ask, what was the point of the analysis? Why were you doing this? Right? That's more important. Some people, they won't be able to defend their analysis. They'll say, no, no, I did it because my company told me to do it, or I did it because my host providers told me to do it. And we automatically reject them because this is,
Yeah.
for me, this is an artistic field. You are the judge, you are the jury, you are the person, you are like a lawyer. You need to defend yourself, you need to go aggressive, you need to, I mean, you need to do everything here, right? So
So
I look
like
at it like
will
that.
I like there's one query I had, like, do I need to learn ML and AI as well? Like I have theoretical knowledge of ML, but algorithm wise I don't have proficiency in it. So will I need to learn this as well?
AI, ML, two different things. We may need one more webinar for that, to be honest. ML is your basic traditional statistical models. AI or deep learning, that's a very different part. That goes into
Yeah,
neural
that's
network. Many
in-
companies, many people make this mistake of not learning ML, but directly going and learning deep learning and artificial intelligence. So, as I said, I have been a part of self-driving car team. My codes have run on an actual self-driving car at Audacity's location in California. I can tell you
all
this.
right.
I can tell you this with all confidence. Many companies are not able to adapt to deep learning because there are many gaps. Financial companies can never adapt because they need to explain their model to the customer. Deep learning cannot. At this point, it's very difficult to explain deep learning models. Number one. Number two, deep learning is expensive. You need a GPU, you need a lot of things to actually train your models. It's very expensive. Number three, there is also parallelly a development which is taking place to get everything into distributed part, which is Spark or PySpark type of thing, right? PySpark Scala, they've emerged suddenly, right? People are seeing that's happening for the last 1 year because that cuts down a lot of cost in your computing, right? Your algorithms like Keras, TensorFlow, these are your deep learning algorithms, which are again, they've also started coming into the Spark ecosystem, but they're still not very stable. Deep learning and all really good for research, absolutely no doubt. Deep learning and all really good for providing custom solutions like your Netflix, right? For example, if you go to Netflix, what happens? Those recommendations and all, they use something called as autoencoders, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
on those
yeah.
lines, it's good. But if you look at like if you look at mainstream part, right, the 70 to 80% of
Mhm.
the industry, they are still in machine learning. You will not believe when I joined this company, they were still doing logistic regression and all. They didn't even touch something like advanced machine learning algorithms like gradient boosting. So,
Okay.
but companies are moving because here in financial or credit industry, it's very important for us to explain the model. Like we can't just say you are a fraud because my model said that. I have to say you are a fraud because so and so, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly.
that happens everywhere. So I would say there is a learning curve, obviously. Machine learning, then deep learning, right? And between machine and
Yeah.
deep learning, you learn something like Spark and data processing. So it's not only about model development. That's my take on it.
Okay. And one more thing, like since past 1 month, I was working on Python and SQL, and on Python, I've got good command and NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas library, and SQL. I'm learning. Still, I'm learning that one. So,
Mhm.
will I need to learn these things for few more months? Then I should apply for job, or should I start applying for jobs in this?
See, if you are very confident in all these tools, then you should learn analysis. That's my take.
Analysis, like how should I learn that? Like analysis, something which a person have, that is the capability of the person. Like how should I learn that? Like, or
No,
how
there's
should
something
I
called as
how should I
analytical
find out
thinking.
that how much
Absolutely. So there
analytical
is something
thinking?
called as analytical thinking, which is something that I try to teach for my students, right? That's very strictly from my end. I mean, I'm very, 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 very strict
Okay,
about that.
so you guys have that course. So
We
you guys
we
have that
we
course
don't
as
have
well.
it like a
And
course, but we always try to give them analytical thinking. That is the main thing for us. We don't want to fool you
okay,
guys, right? We don't want to fool you by showing you all magic, and then once you go to interviews and all and you get screwed. We don't want to do that. We are very focused at how you can be better and how you can yourself contribute to become better. I mean, that's basically how we try to process.
okay. And do you also provide job assistance, like placement assistance?
Yeah, I
We
think Nitin
provide
just
job
mentioned.
guarantee and more. So we don't just provide placement assistance, we provide placement guarantee. Okay. So I think we can
And
have
what
a
is the
chat
average
later
for
on.
uh,
Yeah.
like what's the like average salaries what people get after getting from there, like from
Okay.
your
So
side?
for the for the freshers, in the current market, they're getting from about 4 lakh rupees to around 6 to 7 lakh rupees. So that's what is happening in the market today. And maybe if you're experienced, you
Like
might get even a lot of more money.
I had this query because last year when I was in an automation field, I'm changing my domain, that's for sure. But in that
Okay.
domain, I was having a salary of like 5.6 lakh. So, I
Hmm.
mean, and so obviously I will expect at least that much. So will that,
No, that's
is that the
again
case?
that's sadly that's not
Like,
how it works. Honestly, if I should tell you, okay. The reason
Yeah.
being,
yeah, no, I'm
Anmol,
just asking. I was asking like average is that or not?
No, Anmol. The thing what happens is okay. Yeah. So
I'll take
you
this, Nitin. 1 second.
yeah
Uh,
yeah Shreyas.
Anmol, do you know this concept of supply and demand?
Yeah,
So, do you know that in US, toilet papers prices were hiked during the pandemic, like during the start of the pandemic, because
yeah, yeah,
no one
yeah.
was buying the toilet paper? Yeah.
Yeah, similarly
When
in
the
India,
toilet
the
papers,
cost of
yeah,
sanitizers got high. Yeah.
exactly, right? When sanitizers or toilet papers are very less in the market, what happens? We pay very high salary, we pay very high amount.
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
every single corner of a road has a data science institute. So obviously the corporates have seen that, and now they are like, hey, I can hire someone for 3.5 lakhs, and it's like, it's a trial and error thing. Maybe they work, maybe they don't work. If they don't work, I can fact get one more guy for 3.5 lakhs, and he might work. See, think about it like this. What do you want to do in your career after 15, 20 years? Do you want to work on automation? Do you want to do RPA process and be that background guy, or do you want to be a guy who would come up front and basically take things head on? These are two different
Like,
concepts.
see, I have actually decided to be in this field. That's why I have left the job and working for this skills. So that for that I'm very sure.
No, no, fair
So
enough.
just
I mean,
hope.
I'm talking from salary perspective as well. So simple thing, right? So I was not really that great in academics. I can be very honest with you, but I'm a really good data scientist. I can be damn sure about that, right? Now, in college, I would have got an offer of 4.5 lakhs or 5 lakhs if I would have tried, but I didn't want to try. It's okay if I joined for 3.5 lakhs at DNB. I did that. I got 2, 3 hikes. I got 200% hike in total till date. I make in double digits, right? I am happy. It happened in 2 years, but I'm happy. But when I was in college, I was working for Audacity, and they pay in dollars. I was making 2 lakh per month, literally. So again, coming back to that, right? When Audacity or when other people saw that, oh, there are so many people, now we can pay less, they started paying less. So I had to have a trade off there. So I said, okay, let me have a trade off, because after 2, 3 years, I may see myself as a big guy. I did that. So I would say, if you are starting out, you're a fresher, salary should be the last thing in your mind. If you have a family to support, you have people to support, or you're not from a very strong financial background, household, I totally agree with you. Salary plays a vital part. If you're not from that, and
Exactly.
you're okay, you can take care of yourself in that 20, 25,000 per month salary. It's fine. One of the batches which I took when I just joined DNB, that was 2 years back, for one of the other things, one of the other institute. All those students are placed now. One of them is in Amazon right now. He just joined. He used to come and tell me, "Says, I don't want to, work on development, but I'm not from a good household. I want to earn money." I told him, hey, you do this, that's fine. Also focus on data structures. Try to crack a company like Amazon. He cracked Amazon. He's sitting in Amazon right now. And yesterday he sent
Okay.
me a
Alright, that's
message
good.
as well. So it's up to them,
Yeah.
it's up to you, how your family, how your ecosystem, how your environment is. Based on that decision, you make a move, or else you can, it's a sacrifice. I would put it that way.
Mm. All got it.
I know you may not be very happy with this answer, but I don't want to hide reality from you. Um, you know, Very clear about that. Sam, you asked this question, right? So the topics, they are present in the Decodr website. You can look at that. Usually, all the course curriculum follows the same trend of algorithms. First would be the codings and all, and then they go into algorithms and then projects. So we have a very different method of doing that. We try to teach analytical skills throughout the sessions, throughout the course. That's how we do things. Like, why are we doing this? What is the need to do this? How can I make it better? So that is how we try to make things. So we cover everything from exploratory analysis to statistics to mathematics to um, actual machine learning algorithms, how they work, what they do. Everything is covered
And what's
in
the
this.
duration of this course?
I think it's 2 months, 30 classes for now. 1.5 hour to 2 hour per class, depending on the class itself.
Shrey sir, it's for 10 weeks and the classes are on the weekends for 3 hours each day on the
Mhm.
weekends, on Saturday and Sunday. So that is the,
Okay. And one more thing, will I
hmm,
be provided with some industrial projects as well? Like I will
you have,
be.
you have an inventory of 150
Okay.
projects, Anmol.
You'll
So
be provided
yeah,
with
you can
150
pick.
projects actually. You can pick whichever one you want. You want to do 150, do. You want to do five, you do. It's up to you. You
Okay.
want to do
Okay.
five
All right.
projects and you want to put your heart and soul onto it, be my guest. You want to do 150 project and do heart and soul and stay with us for 1 year, do that. Up to you.
All right. All right. Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. Right. I think we are done.
Yes, sir. So, thank you a lot, Shreyas, sir, for having this session, and it was really informative, and all of us got to know a lot of things. Really appreciate it.
Yep, thank
And
you.
I
Thanks a lot.
think there is a last question, sir. So, Rohan Rakesh, so it's like I'm a third year engineering student. Can I join Decoder Data Science course? Like, will it be feasible for
Absolutely, you can, Rohan. I was in third year. I was in IT. I joined Simply Learn. I wasted my time. I paid 45,000 for that course. I learned only Python from that. I was promised Hadoop, SAS, whatnot. Nothing happened. But one good thing which happened is it gave me a spark to do things. Fourth year, I joined multiple courses from Audacity. I overpaid. Trust me, guys, I overpaid. I could have done this in a much cheaper cost. I recovered. That is a good thing. But idea is that start doing your courses as early as possible. Third year, best time to do it. You have 2 years in your hand. After 2 years, once you complete Rohan, and mark my words on this, I'm not even kidding. You'll be one of the best goddamn data scientists around. This happened with me. This will happen with you. I started in third year, so it happened like that.
okay. And also, luckily, you have found us at as Decodr Technologies, and hopefully, we are not overcharging or not doing giving you wrong promises. So
No,
yeah,
not
Rohan,
yet.
you can definitely come. Yeah, and also one last question from
Two
Kirti
questions that I
Sethi.
can see. Yes, if you can address
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
how
sorry,
much
two
career
questions.
gap
Yeah.
would have?
Hmm.
Really, career gap, which is a very interesting thing because personally, I have seen people with career gap. I've taken interviews of them, and they somehow are really good. For some reason or the other, they don't join. Um, we even hired one person with a career gap of 1 year. Now we've also hired a person who got laid off 6 7 months back. Um, it happens, not a problem. Career gap shouldn't affect, but in that career gap, you need to do many projects. You need to learn a lot of things, right? And you need to come and show them, that hey, I did so much. I know I had a career gap, but I did this much. I did A to Z. Guess what? Nobody will care about your career gap. Nobody cares. It's only these human resource people who will sit and say career gaps and all. In fact, many companies have started this that if you're a female and you have a career gap, they actually give more preference to you in interviews. So that is a very good thing which is happening in the market nowadays, which is happening in the industry, and it will help you a lot. Yes, there is a thing called environmental data science. Answering to Azhar's question, you are an environmental science student. Environmental data science using all these IoT tools and devices to kind of look at different metrics or different types of prediction. For example, one of the earliest adopters of these models would be like those cyclone models and all. You guys have seen this, right? The model predicts that the landfall will hit Kolkata. Have you guys seen it in the news or something? Like we had a cyclone, right? There's a predicted path, there's a projected path, right? How are they doing it? They're not just sitting and drawing a map and saying, okay, aaj yahan pe hit hoga. It will hit here, it will hit there. It's not a voting type of concept, right? There is a model, there are things which are involved. So yes, you can be. There are many companies who are predominantly working, many government projects which are coming in, which is doing this. So yes, you can do. Kriti, did I answer your question correctly? I don't think that you would have a lot of effect, so don't worry about it if you're still worried about it.
Very sorry, but I'm not convinced with the answer because you told me the other way. Actually, I have been grilled, so being a female as well. So this is what I was about to say, but I thought I guess the time is about to over, so I did not.
No, no, I'm there. You can go ahead. Not a problem. I'm there to help, Kriti. See,
Okay.
to be very honest with you, Kriti, right? My whole point is you have a career gap doesn't affect you. It doesn't impact you. It's not how people portray it to be. That was a time, there was a space where career gap was purviewed as a very bad thing. In today's day and age, many people have been taking career gaps. Maybe they get burnout with their work, or maybe they have some personal issues altogether. That's not a problem, right? Now, when you are coming back from that, if anybody is helping you with placements, join that. Do your best in the courses that they are giving you. If they are giving you this, like for example, right, Decoder, and I tell this to people, many people who don't have a job, they also tell me the same thing. I say, you do this, right? You practice on the stuff that we are actually giving you. You don't need to worry about placements. Placement is Nitin's headache. Placement is Anirban's headache, not your headache, right? You do well in what you do. create repositories. LinkedIn is an absolutely amazing tool, Kriti. You have no idea. Write your blogs. Whatever you've learned, write a blog. I tell my students to do that. Write a blog. They write, they get an offer, right? So I would say that it does not actually have impact on your placements directly. It may have some impact. I'm not saying it's a 0% impact. You don't need to worry or anything. It's not like that. That's the reality of the situation. But it's not something that's going to hamper you so much that you can't do anything else. You get my point? The essential thing is you keep working hard, you will get a job. It's as simple as that. I had the same type of thing in Audacity. One of my student, her story is very sad. She had to take a career gap, right? But guess what? She now is making money in JPMC, New York, JPMC, New York. So
Okay.
how would I call that? He had a 3-year career gap, right?
Okay, even I do have the same career gap. I spoke to Nitin yesterday, so it was a conversation of half an hour approx. So I did my investment banking course from a very renowned school, but they were also very much promising. They sound to be very promising on the placement part. That hardly matters what background do you have, how much
Mm-hmm.
gap, but we'll make sure that you all are on the same page. But this did not happen at all. We were just done with 1 month of the course and they were about to start with the placement process, and they neglected the students who were really not CFA cleared. So it was just like, okay, paise aa gaye hain, hardly matters to us. I cannot name them. This is not something to criticize, but I'm telling you the actual situation of the market.
No,
So
that's there. Uh, Kriti, one more very interesting thing that you brought up, right? Okay, do you see this that we are heading into recession, right? And one of the biggest problem in recession is that people who just come out of colleges, many of their offer letter got revoked.
yeah, I've
When
seen
I was
many
in
posts
SRM,
over LinkedIn.
right, I sat only for 3 companies because I was not eligible for more. When I joined SRM, they said at least you can get around 5 or 6 companies to sit for. Uh, I got really less marks in my 12th standard. No shame in accepting that. I got 69.8. 70% was the minimum from which companies started hiring. 1 mark. That was it. 1 mark. But here's the fun fact. Life finds a way. And it did. I worked hard in data science and machine learning, maybe because I knew that I will not get placement. Maybe because of that, I took it as my domain and I started doing it. Uh, you know what? You can take my number from Nitin. I can help you. I can guide you. I can even, you do the course. I will even help you get a job. I will do that. Okay, that's a personal commitment from me to you. But you need to do that.
Thank you
I mean,
so
you need
much.
to take a course. You need to work hard on that, right?
Oh, yeah,
And this,
absolutely. This was the same in the case while I was doing the investment banking course. I tried to really cope up with the concepts, but they were not ready to even mentor me. So I was I was so hopeless. I was not left with anything. I landed a job. I started with an internship that was totally on wages. So, but
hmm,
that was also for 3 months, and then this COVID hit. So I'm serving somewhere, but that's not a core IB profile. So I'll be quitting it. I know that it would be a very big step again, but
uh,
it's not
I
worth
would say
because
don't do
I'm
that
so.
right now. Uh, don't don't
Oh,
don't do that. I think we can take it offline. Nitin, we can take this offline. Kriti, if you're okay, we can take it
Yeah, yeah,
offline.
yeah,
sure, sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so we can do
absolutely.
that.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so sir, I think it's been a long session already,
Oh yeah.
and thank you a lot. I thank you. This is the third time I'm thanking you
Oh,
because
that's
it's
okay.
keeping on extending because of people's doubt. I'm really sorry about it. But I hope this session was really good. We had good questions coming in, and thank you so much for answering all those questions very patiently, sir. Okay,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
thank you all for attending the session. It was a lovely crowd here, uh, and thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot. Take care, guys. Best of luck with your career journey. Yep. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.